Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, and when last we left our fellow adventurers, we had a slight run-in with the mother and her friends. Mother and friends. It makes it sound so gentle.
It's not. It hurt. A lot of lightning.
And I believe the gnomes had opened up a door in the stone wall, and you all had run through as a horde of spiders was closing in on you. And as the door was closing, I believe the last thing of the night was Pearson flipping off the spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doors closed. So, after the wall closes, you can still hear scraping on the other side, and Jagal motions for you guys to follow, and he says, this will not hold them for long. We should move. And you guys, I assume you're going to follow the gnomes?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You see a very unusual and somewhat amazing sight. As you and the gnomes progress down the cave, you're grouped in a bundle of about, the 20 gnomes or so and you. And the walls appear to be almost liquid. The stone, it's not as though you're walking on a path. It's as if you're walking in a bubble of liquid stone. The walls seem to move out of the way in front of you and close behind you. And you continue walking like this for 30 minutes. And
what? This is not how stone works.
What happens if I poke it? Just out of
Jarek is
curiosity.
strongly concerned about this, and
Does
well,
it
he's
like
not going to voice anything. It's fucking gnome magic, whatever.
does
Bullshit.
it feel like stone, or does it like?
If you try to press it, Jagal would try to gently stop you and say, "Best not to. We are passing through the bedrock itself, and our magic is shaping the stone around us. It would not be gentle if you were to touch it."
Finn like draws her hand back really quickly and just holds on to it.
And you guys continue moving like that for about 15 to 20 minutes until the walls seem to open up and you see a passageway before you, just a dark cave. It's not developed or anything. It's almost as if it was just a natural cave or path that was underground. And then when you all shuffle yourselves through, they close the walls behind you and the gnomes stop. And Jagal comes to you and says, "We can rest now. We should be safe for the moment."
Cool.
Safe from what now? The spiders can't pass through stone, can they?
Jagal shakes his head. He says, "No, thankfully they cannot. However, this is their domain as much as ours, and they can always find ways to us. And of late, our techniques for avoiding them have been futile." And with that, some of the gnomes grumble, and some of them look rather sad. And after Jagal says, "Please sit and rest, and I will explain what I can."
All right. Comor will comply. There doesn't seem like very many places to sit here, so he'll just find a piece of rock and sit himself down.
He nods and he says, "First, we should do something about those torches, I believe you call them.
What's wrong with their torches?
They attract everything," he says after a small pause. And then he calls for one of his little gnomes, and they come, and he says, "He's going to put, with your permission, an enchantment on all of you, which should allow you to, for a time, see in the dark, so that you will not need the torches."
How long
Okay.
will it last for?
Typically 3 to 4, I believe you call them days. We don't really... I'm sorry, we don't use them very much down here, so I can't give you an accurate estimate.
I was only worried because I don't want to be walking around and be suddenly blind without a torch in my hand. But if it lasts as long as you think, then you have my permission.
You have my word, it does.
You can do them first, and you can do it on me last.
All right. So the little gnome,
Not a coward.
the little gnome, who seems very cheerful and bubbly, has all sorts of pouches and pockets and potions strapped to him, and he opens up one of his pouches and he has this little dust in the torchlight. It kind of glitters a reddish tint, and he sprinkles a little bit on each of your foreheads, and it makes each one sneeze when he does it. And then he says a little incantation, and to each one of you when he does it, and if one of you refuse, let me know. Basically, you sneeze, and then when you open your eyes again, you can see better. In fact, at this point, the torch is actually starting to hurt your eyes. Everything has this reddish tint to it, but you see that you can, or you notice that you can see a good 50 feet or so, even in very dark or almost pitch black conditions. And the only odd thing, other than of course the red tent, is that when you look at the eyes of the gnomes or your fellow party members who have been cast into this enchantment, they seem to glow red.
Is the sneezing compulsory for the magic to work?
No, it's more of just the dust makes you sneeze, and it makes you close your eyes, and when your eyes open again, it works.
Fucking scrub lords who need to breathe.
That's true. That's true. So I guess I did forget about that. So Grim doesn't sneeze.
Wait! I don't care. Breath doesn't mean you can't have tingles in your nose.
They're
Your
dead.
nose can itch. Oh.
But
Dead.
what
Much like Michael Jackson.
what I would say, so what would happen
That's too
is
soon.
what would happen is the gnome when he puts the pinch on your face and blah, blah, he doesn't. Jarek does not sneeze. The gnome says you must close your eyes before it will work.
Jarek will probably breathe in to say what, and then he'll sneeze.
Nice.
There you go.
And then he'll nod his head and go, there you go. And then after that, Jagal will say, if you would please extinguish the torches.
Colin will comply. I'm putting still the slightly used torch in his pack.
Yeah, whatever. Jarek extinguishes this.
All right. When you extinguish the torches, you find that like I said, the light was almost at this point blinding more than helping. And you can see a good 50 feet. Eventually, it's not like you're on a bright sunny day. You can't see forever and ever, but you do see as if there was a low to moderate amount of light that just came from everywhere.
So are we just in another cavern right now?
Correct.
And it's just us and gnomes. There's no other features that are important?
Nothing that you notice of immediate importance. If you look up, you can't see a roof. It's very high above you. You do see the tips of a few stalagmites are the ones that hang down, I think.
So are the ones that hang down.
But you don't know how big or long those are. And you do see several stalactites on the floor around you. It definitely looks like you're in just a naturally formed opening in the stone.
Okay. Well, speak to us more about your troubles with these spiders. I find it very, very hard to fathom that your magic can combat against them, but perhaps they wield magic of their own?
Jagal shakes his head and says, combat? Oh, no. We gnomes, we never combat. We are not, and he kind of promotions you guys, we're not warriors like yourself. We use illusion, we hide, we run, we survive. We never combat. But yes, it is as you say, until recently, we were always able to, for the most part, avoid the mother's gaze. But something changed. I don't know exactly when. I'm too weary to count. But some time ago, our magic was not enough, and the mother began to hunt down the different tribes. It was as if she could tell where we were, no matter what enchantments we cast, and send her spiders and her goblins to find us. All we know is that many tribes have been either decimated or taken to the underground city. We don't know what happens there, but we do know that there is something there that counteracts our magic, or more likely is able to see through it. And it's only a matter of time before she finds the rest of us and Well, and he kind of shrugs, you saw we had been found, and I do not know what fate would have befallen us if you had not saved us.
Why does she want to kill you? You don't. If you like you say you don't fight, then what threat could you possibly have to them?
The mother, and he laughs a little bitterly, does not like to share her domain. When she rose to power, she drove out first the drow, and then tried to drive us out. But you see, we gnomes, we can't live above the ground. An adult such as I could for a time, but our children would not survive up there. He points to the sky. So we developed magic to hide, but I wish I had a better reason other than just it's the mother, and she does not like to share. She has always hunted us.
Wait. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but under the earth is actually even more expansive than over the earth. Surely she does not have domain over everything that's under the ground. Could you not find another home further away from her?
Jigal nods. He says, there was a time where we believed as you did. However, no matter how far we traveled, or where we tried to set up a new home, any time we tried to settle in any place for too long, her minions would be there to find us. Since then, and for many, many years, we have been travelers, nomads, constantly moving around to avoid her gaze.
Well then. We came to you for help, but it seems that you're in absolutely no position to do so. I'm glad we were able to help you in your life, though.
He tilts his head curiously, and what help do you think that the gnomes would be able to provide you?
Cullimore looks to the group, and he looks over to Cole and says, here, I'll have Cole explain. He knows you more than I do.
Jigal would look to Cole.
Well, as the mother is the threat of the underground, it looks like a new one, very similar. The demons have done the same above ground, and it looks like they are beginning to spread and to grow influence. We were hoping that any sort of help that you could give us, transportation, guidance, even an underground route to help us go from place to place, would be most helpful.
Jigal listens to your words and nods, and his eyes widen a bit when you say demons, and he says, when did this take place?
Like, yeah, out of character, this was like a week and a half ago.
More like almost a month ago now, because it was about 2 weeks to get to the city, and then it was about another week or two to prepare and get ready to go, and so it's been almost a month since the portals opened.
Alright. It's been around a month.
He nods again and says, I can't be sure, but that would be around the same time we were hunted. He thinks long and hard, and he says, there were rumors that at first I didn't believe, but perhaps if what you say is true, one of our kind escaped their foul city and spoke of a being, a demon he called it, that had great magical power, and some think this is why our magic no longer works. And he nods, shakes his head and says, but I cannot be certain. However, we might be able to aid you still if transportation is what you require, but... And then he pauses. And then others, as he's thinking, other gnomes start going, they're warriors, ask them to help. And he says, You've already done us a great service. However, if we do not get help, I fear that it is only a temporary reprieve, and we will be found again. I would ask a bargain with you.
Merrimet?
And then he kind of, his shoulders slump and he says, please, find whatever it is that makes our magic not work. Allow us to hide from the mother again, and I swear to you, we will take you wherever you wish to go. However you wish to get there, and whenever you wish it of us.
How are we supposed to do something like that?
The Jagal shrugs his shoulders and says, we are not warriors. We don't know your ways. But we do... I feel confident that you have a much better chance of accomplishing such a thing than one such as I.
Even if we are to consider your agreement, I have one suggestion to slightly alter the deal, the proposal. If we were to do this to assist you, we would not want you just to be our allies, to ferry us across the world as we please. You might have to consider not being such a hidden group. We are gathering an alliance above ground as well to fight the demons that have come through these portals. We would need you to assist that alliance, because together we can probably fight it together.
There is murmuring among the gnomes, and some that say yes and some that say no, and Jugal listens to them for a time and then looks to you and then says, I cannot speak for other tribes, but I can tell you this. Without help, we are a dying people, and we will not be around much longer. If the price for our survival is joining this alliance, I am sure it is a price the tribes would gladly pay, especially if the alternative is... And then he kind of spreads his hand, leaving it unsaid.
I see. Give us a moment to talk together to determine whether we want to accept your deal or not.
He nods. Of course.
Okay. All right. I think it would be fair to gather the group away from little gnomish ears, and talk about this, whether we want to do this or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
All right.
Okay.
That's possible.
Let's get down to business.
Well, this isn't exactly how I planned it, or what I was expecting. Kind of don't want to go up against that bitch spider god, but
Well, we don't
Think
have
about-
to.
we don't have to. That's very true. But the shortcuts these gnomes could give us, if there's one thing that's working against us, it's time, right?
Mhm.
Every moment we take is another moment for those demonic armies to come through to fight, to wear down the people who are still existing here, right? And the more time that they have, the stronger they can get before we can actually finish this thing, right? If we're going to unite these different cultures and societies like a bunch of gangs fighting together, then we need to do so with the relative speed. So it might be worth spending some time here now and save even more time in the future, if we can actually do this, if you think we can do this at least.
Yeah, I have no idea how we even go about starting to do this unless
Yeah, I
someone
know.
has any ideas.
Jared
Well-
shakes his head.
Yes? Oh, nothing.
Jarek,
Jarek?
Jared shook his
He
head.
shakes his head. He
Yeah.
doesn't know.
that's it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
Alright.
not a good sign.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we only need to find one source, dismantle that.
If I had to guess from what he was saying, it seems, and based on what Keen and Jarek came across beforehand, it seems that there's some sort of alliance between this demonic force and this mother, this dark mother. It's probably some sort of alliance that has brought her the sight to find these gnomes and to kill them. If it's just simply an object or a single individual, we might be able to stop it. If it's just a gift that has been granted onto her, we can't fight a god, so we might as well not. So I guess we should determine that first before we even agree. Yeah.
Yes.
We couldn't possibly determine that. How do you propose we go about doing that?
Well, I don't know much about magic, but you and the gnomes do. They might be able to sense how weak their magic gets, kind of like a what is it, dowsing rod?
Yeah. In addition, the gnomes could not be telling us everything yet, or maybe they know something, but they just don't realize it. Maybe we should question them a bit further.
You think it'll help?
It's worth a shot.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's let's find this out real quick. Jagal, Cullimore will call over.
He looks up. Hopefully.
We're trying to determine the whether it's even in our power to help you, even if we wanted to. The big thing that we're concerned of is, of course, going against the machinations of, for lack of a better word, a god. You said this happened about a little under a month ago, that she suddenly started to be able to see through your illusions and your tricks?
Jagal nods.
Do you have any idea, any contacts in this underground city? You said someone escaped, correct?
Jagal nods again.
Ooh, can we speak to them? Do you know where he is?
And Jagal thinks for a second. He says, it would be about a day's journey, but assuming they are still uncaptured, yes, I know where he is. If it is of any help to you, the mother, powerful though she may be, and I don't even know if it's her you would need to face, but she is certainly not a god. She is mortal. She can be and has been hurt in the past by the drow, who were arguably much better fighters than we were. In fact, if legend is to be believed, she used to be one of them.
Great. So so you're saying we would need to invest in a day. I just want to be sure before I even think about this.
He nods and he says, I know the task I am asking of you is great. If you want to speak to the one that escaped before you decide anything, I can do my best to hasten you to them.
Yeah, that'd be preferable.
And he holds up his hand and he says, I understand that I cannot ask anything without returning anything. If you speak to him, at least speak to him and consider helping us. I will do what I can to speed you on your current journey.
Yeah, we are considering it. It's true. We'll need a little bit more time to figure out for sure, but in the meantime, it's best you prepare us for that journey to talk to this possible escapee.
He nods and says, I know the way, and if we move quickly... He thinks about it. He says, if I leave my tribe behind, I can get you there much faster. And he kind of looks uneasy and he says, if time is really that important to you, I will do so.
What do you guys think? Do we want to do this at all, or do you want to see where it goes? Do we want to rush them?
I would prefer returning to the surface.
Okay. Yeah. Return to the surface and continue on with the way we're going to go. Just go over sea and land.
Yes.
I'm tempted to do so too. The only thing I can think of is just the potential for great rewards. If we're able to make sure that the gnomes can be disguised and foil an ally of these demons, we could avoid so much carnage up top. We would save so much time. Like, we wouldn't have to worry about hiding from flying demons, going around sieging armies, looking for killer squads that are trying to hunt us. If she's blind, sorry, the big bad guy, his name is what, Azael?
Azil, yeah.
Yeah.
Azael? If Azael's ally is blind underneath the earth, then so is he. He can't even send anyone else out to kill us at that point. The advantages to this are pretty huge if you think about it.
I vote to go on the journey to find this guy, but it does suck that it's like I don't even know. Like I agree, but like, how the fuck are we supposed to do this? Like I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that should be it. Maybe we should just agree. We should take a vote. We should cast our opinions to just go and talk with this escaped gnome. Maybe he has some information on exactly what is causing them to see. And if it's something that we think we can attain, then we do it. If we think it's too much, then we say we're sorry. We'll help you as best we can, but we can't fight this person for you. We gotta go.
Yeah.
We are out of our element, fighting hunters who are comfortable within their own home.
Yeah, I know. But we do have the element of surprise. They're expecting little helpless. They're expecting little helpless gnomes. They're not expecting us.
Aren't they?
Now they might be.
I don't know. We killed everyone. How would they have gotten the message across?
Well, the mother.
Right.
Yeah, the giant floating head.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then I
The sea of monstrous spiders that rode after us and we narrowly escaped.
Yeah, I guess I did give them the finger. I guess they pretty much know. Yeah.
They kind of were a bit threatening, weren't they? Yeah.
Just a bit. Just
We could be cunning about this, though. We might be.
My only concern with not doing this is what they would gain if they gained the Underdark itself.
That's the other thing, too.
Good point.
You know, despite what he says, I doubt this Dark Mother is really interested in just not being able to share. I'm sure the gnomes are threatened another way. Maybe they don't even know it, right? But if she has complete control under the ground and over the ground, then there'd be nowhere for anyone to hide.
Yeah.
I don't know. My vote is to go and at least talk with this little guy. See what he knows.
Agreed.
Might as well give it a shot.
Okay. So the question is, I don't know if I listen. I've had.
I voted
know,
again.
Derek. I know,
Yes,
Derek's
it's a
voted
day.
again.
It's a day.
It's one of those days.
Faster if you ask him to leave the tribe behind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I'm not even close to comfortable with that, and it's one of those things where just like, would you really want the man in a worse mindset when he comes back and sees his tribe dead?
yeah.
You want favors from him, not
Jarek
the other way
files
around.
that category under not his problem. There's like a list of things that aren't his problem, and that's one of them.
It's pretty damn.
There's a
long
lot of
list.
things that is not his problem.
That's a lot of things that are not Jarek's problem. come to
Unless
think
it
of
has four. Unless it has four legs and answers to the name of Heinrich, most things aren't his problem. All right. So, but yeah, I mean, it's his family. It's the only people that are with. I don't think I'm gonna want him to leave. I think we can take a day. Besides, if this does work out, we could save weeks of journeying, maybe even months. The rewards are very great. It might be worth the risk. Okay, so I guess it's somewhat agreed then that we'll go see the guy. We don't need him to rush. He can go with his tribe to where he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jarek rolls his eyes and shrugs.
All right. All right, that's that then. We'll tell him the news that he doesn't need to rush us. We won't make our final decision until after we talk with this individual. But for now, if you can show us where he is, that's a start.
When you say that, the gnomes around get very hopeful and start chattering among themselves, and he tells them to calm down and looks to you and says, "That is as much as we could hope for. Thank you." And he says, "Obviously you are in a hurry. If you need time to rest, let me know. Otherwise, we can begin immediately."
I'm good to go now.
Yeah.
We'll rest when we know more information.
Yeah.
He nods and says, "Then this way. And stay ever vigilant. They always hunt us."
All right.
And with that, you guys start off, the gnomes leading the way. You start your day trek. Most of the time, you are traveling kind of in what you are now, an underground passageway that seems to have naturally formed under the earth. There are times where the gnomes lead you through the bedrock in that weird sort of watery rock shaping around you type of way. But for the most part, the journey is very quiet. It is very, I can't say dark because you can see around you, but it's a very discomforting feeling in the idea that it's just blackness all around you. You can hardly ever see the roof above your heads. You're almost always in these very large, expansive, I guess the best way to think of it would be a plain, where it's very flat, or at least rolling stone hills with stalagmites, and that's it for as far as the eye can see. Sometimes you're going down tunnels, but for the most part, it's almost as if walking through a field of stalagmites and stalactites, and that's it. Like I said, the journey happens uneventfully unless you guys want to do anything. And if you could, please, you know what? I'm gonna do a quick little roll here. All right. So the journey happens uneventfully unless you guys want to do anything. Like I said, it'll take about, he says a day, about 12 hours or so to get there. So.
Okay. I can't think of any sort of scenes or dialogue that I really need to say right now, to tell you the truth, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
All right. So you guys arrive at the camp, tired, obviously, from your previous battles in this journey. You as a party are starting to get rather exhausted at the varying levels, depending on your constitution and how well you hold up. But I can't imagine all that fighting and then 12 hours of marching. You're going to be in tip-top shape. So you get to the other tribe, and it is a sad state of affairs.
Why
no.
can it never be a happy state of affairs?
Why
can't they be having a little party and
something about genocide tends to really get people down.
Fucking genocide.
I have
Insert
myself a
inappropriate
sad.
jokes about genocide over human history here.
There's only about 30 gnomes, and they huddle together in these little tents. There's no fire. Doesn't seem like they're very cheerful. And Cole, you would probably be the only one to know this. It's unusual. Gnomes, as much as you've always known, are very happy people. They love to sing, they love to dance, they love to light fires, and they're always trying to sell you stuff. And this is completely different than what you're used to. It's very quiet and solemn and oppressive air, so to speak. So you guys arrive at the new tribe, and Jagal talks to what you assume to be the leader of that tribe, and they usher you in to a tent that is a rather large tent. It looks like it's a type of infirmary. There's a few gnomes that are lying on sick beds, and there's one in general in the corner. And they lead you over to him, and he is sitting against the back of the sick bed that he's on, curled up into a ball, and he seems to be muttering to himself. He's a very small gnome. In the reddish tint of your eyes, he looks kind of pinkish red, and his eyes seem to glow a little bit fiercer than the rest of the eyes around you, and he's just kind of mumbling to himself when you approach him. And you get there, and the leader of that tribe tries to soothe him and says, Balin, we have some people who'd like to talk to you. And he goes, yes, talk? No, talk. No, what? Yes? What? Who? Who wants to talk? And then they motion to you guys and say, they are here to help us. They want to know about the city that you escaped from. And Balin goes, bad place, much death, bad place. What do you? And he looks at you guys. What do you want to know?
Jarek will grit his teeth so hard that like the throat muscles will like bulge. It's like he mulls over this situation.
Yeah. Kellamore, Well, I'm gonna just quickly look and see if anyone else is going to approach the gnome.
Nope.
Finn's eyes are just widening like, did we just travel all this way to talk to a crazy person?
Okay.
Cole will motion over to, like, will walk over to him and kind of squat next to him, and will ask him how he's doing.
And with that, Balin will look at you, and his eyes will widen, and he'll say, Orc? I've heard tales of an orc that was friends with gnomes. You must be him. I've always wanted to meet you. And he gets a little more coherent, actually, when looking at you and when he's talking to you. And then he starts telling you about when he was a young gnome, he used to have a doll that looked like an orc, and he used to play with them and imagine that he was a great warrior like the orc too, and you might want to stop him because he's just going to keep on going.
I'm going to mention the name of the clan that I met often.
With that, he stops, and he looks down, and he says, I was with Tosh. That was my home.
They were good people and great friends.
And then he looks up, and his eyes look a little angry, and he says, they are good people. They're not dead yet. Are they dead? No, not yet.
I am unsure. Looks like things are a bit scattered. We want to know if we can't help more gnomes.
And then he looks to you, and he kind of grabs your jerkin and like comes up to you really close. Yes, you're the orc. You can help us. Help us. Help them.
What do you know about the village that you escaped from?
He sits down and he shakes his head as if trying to concentrate, and he says, I'm sorry, they say that I am, well, not right in the head. I will do my best to focus. I was with my tribe when we were captured by the spiders. We were taken to the underground city that has no name. And there we were enslaved. We worked until we couldn't stand. We were beaten and abused and forced to build weapons of war, giant rock-throwing machines and stones carved into the shape of a ram. We worked endlessly, and we had it easy. Others were taken to the pits to fight for the amusement of the goblins and the hobgoblins, and him.
Who's him?
And with that, he looks at you, and his eyes get a little crazy again, and then he blinks and he stops and tries to speak slowly. A demon. It must be a demon. With a head. A giant head. Attached to nothing. Floating. Giant teeth. Eyes everywhere.
Oh, fuck! Ah, shit! Oh, sorry, that's me as a player. I hate these things. I hate them so much. They are like the scariest goddamn fantasy monster in the world.
What?
Fuck, shit, fuck.
Why, Inferno, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bullshit.
Let the crazy NPC finish his dialogue.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
do.
I will. I'm sorry.
He-
Just, oh,
I like to
fuck.
imagine that was canon. Just all of a sudden, Pearson like goes into this
Like,
rage.
yeah, Pearson knows nothing about demons, but this one.
No,
Alright.
I know.
That.
Anyways, have him
Oh.
continue. Have him continue.
He
I'm
says,
sorry. I couldn't
His
help
magic. I heard us slave keepers talking once. It sees through all of our enchantments. He knows where we are. He hunts us. I escaped. One goblin felt bad, helped me and others run.
And Cole will lend out a hand for it to, I guess, be grasped.
And he would grasp it.
And Cole then look over to the group and see how their reactions are.
Jarek, since you're the only one that might, you want to roll me a knowledge check?
Sure, I can do that. I reckon.
Hey, you didn't
Okay.
roll one.
No, you didn't.
Yay.
It was quite difficult. All I did was punch in some letters and numbers, and that happened.
You, from the description, you can tell that you've heard of this kind of demon before. They're rare. You don't find them very often. They, the name given to them.
Jarek
is-
doesn't find demons very often until a fucking month ago.
Oh, I mean,
Fair enough.
even among demon kind, they're known as beholders.
Poopy!
They are very powerful mages. Typically, their race are very strong and akin to magic. They tend to be not from the reports. They tend to prefer magic to physical combat. They do have a giant gaping maw that they can bite you with, but it tends to be the few wizards and such that have run into them usually meet their demise by magic. However, you do know that in your reports that they are not, how to put this, they are by no means the most powerful demons in existence. They tend to be incredibly intelligent and smart and figureheads, but they are not the strongest of their kind. That doesn't mean they're not a threat. They're just not, they're no Azil or anything.
Well, good thing this gnome is crazy and his opinion or word can't be trusted in Jarek's side, because beholders, yeah, it's not happening. Jarek, since Piff wanted to know appearance, Jarek will keep his same contemptuous, throat bulged, teeth clenched, temple pulsing, like, I will kill this fucking gnome where he lays right now for wasting my time face. So, typical Jarek.
Oh my god, I just Googled this bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
I
Welcome to
know!
Beholders.
Oh god. What
Beholders?
did you send me? A goo?
And, Grimace sent that one to me first.
Oh.
Oh,
Beholders,
Jesus.
at least in my experience, are legendary for just being the campaign killer.
Yeah, I can't. I
Hooray.
mean, we had to just go with what we know in character, right?
Yeah.
Like, Will told us
In
his
character?
operation with a bunch of eyes. So it makes sense that this is the thing, right? But now Jarek is probably going to fill us in of like, lol, nope. So,
Yeah.
Let me, yeah.
So Jarek ain't gonna say fucking shit right now, but he wants to let the crazy gnome finish his info dump before Jarek commits suicide.
well, that was great. Jumps off cliff. All right. Anyway. All right.
Huh.
Sorry, is it still talking?
No, actually, he's been clasping Cole until someone says something. By the way, that's for the chat in case you guys didn't know what a beholder is. There you go. All right.
Such a good, fine man.
Yeah. Cuckoo.
Okay.
We know where the demon is.
All I know is if we face that, Finn is gonna shit some bricks, let me tell you.
Add a character for GM. You're fighting demons. You
They
should
don't
expect
look
to
like
shit your bricks
that.
a lot.
Yeah, like I'll fight 1,000 things, whoever the fuck Stellar came across, other than that goddamn abomination.
Just
Listen,
saying.
fought
Beholders
golems
are
made out of
scary,
blood.
dude.
I know
I will
they are.
fight 100 dragons before I fight one beholder. This is just me talking. God, I hate them. All right, anyway. All right. So he's waiting for us to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Cullimore will say, "You said this being had eyes everywhere."
He nods and says, and he tries to, can't really think of the words, so he kind of flails his arm loosely and then points to like the palm and like arms with eyes at the end.
Cole is currently thinking about how that would be a terrible, terrible thing to have arms that have eyes at the end. Doesn't work very well.
Well,
I'm thinking the same thing, ironically enough.
I don't know much about any of this shit, but if they said they'd be able to see through stuff, and this thing has eyes everywhere on its arms, it must be maybe some demon that was brought up from above to assist. If we're able to find it and kill it, maybe that's that.
Yeah.
Is this being said? Is this being said in character?
Yes, it is.
Balin would nod and say, "That's what the guards they were talking about. It had the power to see through our enchantments.
Yeah.
They would jeer with us and laugh at us and say that now that he has come, our race is doomed."
Did they mention anything else of this thing? What it's called, its name, where it lives? Does it reside in the city as well? Or does it have its own lair?
He nods and says, "I saw it once. It resides in the city. It loves the games. Sometimes it takes part.
What kind of games?
Horrible games. The slaves, the stronger ones, are made to fight in a ring with dirt and pillars and everyone around laughing."
Whoa. Wait, and this thing would partake in a fight in the arena?
He nods. If the slave was strong enough, he prided himself in killing it, one just in the ring. He loved the cheers.
Huh. Well,
Got an ego on him.
he does. Plus, it might be a way for us to fight him. The only
Right.
problem is that, well,
What?
this is just...
What?
Gallimore says, listen, this isn't completely fleshed out at all. But if we were to issue a challenge to him, go to the city, issue a challenge, I mean, think about it. This is a huge risk for the city, right? But it's kind of an all or nothing thing. We present ourselves to whomever the authority is, say, hey, we want to kill this guy. Let's fight him one-on-one, right? Us versus them. They get the opportunity to kill us, and we get the opportunity to kill it. Assuming that we live, then, I mean, we don't have to fight our way through a city. We might just have to fight our way out of one. No, that's probably not going to work at all. Yeah.
Jared.exe has stopped working.
Yeah. Listen, I was
You
thinking
think of a better
basic
plan.
arena. I was thinking
Jared's
of a
teeth
basic arena.
stop clenching and his eyes glaze over as he reboots his brain.
It's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. This is one of the steps in order to get the Lich King on our side. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Maybe not.
It's an idea, though. At least we can put that in the back of our pocket and maybe flesh it out or think of something else.
We can masquerade ourselves as slaves, maybe? No, they know our faces. No, the bitch, she sees her. She knows what we look like. There'd be no point on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do you know if the mother is near the city? or resides in it?
He shakes his head and he says, "No, she is at the center of the dark. She never leaves. Every gnome knows that."
Goodness.
So she doesn't live in the city. She lives somewhere else under the earth.
The Jigal would step in and say, "The mother has a lair deep in the earth. She never leaves it. The city that he is speaking of was a drow stronghold that was taken over by the mother, but it will have her servants and her minions, of course, but I can't imagine she would ever leave her own lair."
More spiders.
Here's the thing. I doubt the mother or even her Denzians would pay much regard towards slaves, would she?
Jigal shakes his head. They are less than nothing to her.
Well, that might be one way in. We get captured. We purposely get captured. We become slaves. We make our way to fight in the arena. We challenge this thing. We kill it.
How do you know they'll capture us instead of trying to kill us?
Will make it easier for us to get captured than us to get killed.
Yeah. We put up a bit of a fight.
Balin looks at you guys and says, You're the orc of myth. You're a great warrior. If they find you, he will most certainly want to see you fight. Assuming, of course, they don't kill you before he knows." And he kind of gets quiet.
I am not familiar too much with my own myths. Is there a name that people call me?
He looks to Jigal and the others and says, "Yes, you're the orc."
Easy enough.
Easy.
Yeah.
Right. So, just putting this out there,
Mm-hmm.
and this is me talking character. Strategically, if we were to hit this place, it would not only take out this beholder thing that can see through and might also be responsible for what's nullifying part of the magic that's going on here. But also, they are building siege weapons.
Yep.
So that would take out a huge part of Azil's siege weapon factory.
Exactly. That's probably part of the agreement if you think about it. Demons can't just... They need something to siege weapons with. They can't just go at big towers with tooth and claw.
Yeah.
This is the moment exactly when I wish I had futuristic tech to blow the shit out of that place.
Yeah. Can I make... Oh, yeah.
Fusion
my
blocks.
character...
Fusion blocks.
Listen. My character would not leave the city without an atom bomb. So, can I have an atom bomb?
Well, it's not on your character sheet, but it does make sense, so...
Yes!
You do notice, while you guys are talking, the two tribal leaders are talking quietly, furiously to themselves. One seems kind of hesitant, and Jigal keeps talking, and then after a while he looks up to you guys and he says, "There may be a way to help you. If we pool our magic together, we might be able to place an enchantment on you, one of you, to where... I don't know how you would use it, but one time, at a time of your choosing, you and your party could walk through stone like we do. If you were to somehow get into the city and accomplish your task, you could then walk through the stone to leave it again. None of her Dizians can do such a thing. But it is a powerful enchantment, and to give it to one of you, it would take all of our power, and it could only be used once."
So we have an escape plan.
Yeah.
What happened to us discussing whether we were going to even do this or not? Or did the four of you all agree upon it the moment you saw the gnome laying there?
Oh, you're right, Jarek. Hang on, everyone, take a vote. Who's all in favor of getting rid of this thing? Raise your hand. Finn raises her hand.
Well, Cole is going to shrug and raise his hand. I was going to discuss more, but it looks like we're voting.
We wanted to...
Jarek brought it up.
Yeah, Cullimore will say, Jarek, it's best to understand all options before saying yes or no. The big thing was whether to know that this was something we could even possibly do.
We still don't know that.
Exactly. Which is why we should still be talking about it. Right?
As an impartial judge, I have no say on the matter.
Listen, if you don't think this is a good idea, please articulate the reasons why.
I thought I already did before
Why did you open that
even
door for
came
him?
here.
Why did you open that door for him?
We are
Listen.
still completely out of our element.
Yes.
Attempting a raid on a city to kill one individual whose power we cannot fathom, who can apparently spot the magic of these gnome creatures?
Perhaps. But...
There is no perhaps.
There is a perhaps. This creature is arrogant. And this
You're
demon...
arrogant! You're so foolish enough to think this plan, any plan has a chance of working! You have not been out of the city of your birth your entire life!
That's true.
I have.
No, but I haven't. He's saying that I'm not experienced for this type of shit.
None
But
of
I
us
am
are.
experienced.
No, of
Great
course.
risk,
None
great
of us
reward.
are fucking prepared to deal with jewels that open up the sky and let demons in, but lo and behold, we're stuck dealing with it.
Yeah. Jarek, I mean, there's... Demons have invaded our world and are on the precipice of taking it over. We're going to have to take some sort of risk to stop it. Correct?
Right. That risk can begin not here.
Kip, who's been very quiet this whole time, would venture in. Maybe the queen would know more?
Right.
What
Yeah.
Well, we could write in the
elf
book.
queen.
You know,
Yeah,
just your
right.
best friend.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Our meal
forgot.
ticket, number 2.
Our meal
Listen.
ticket.
Ticket number 2.
Brianna's been drinking, guys.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yes,
Alright, well-
I planned on making notes about it in the journal when you rested.
Well, maybe we
Well,
should
let's rest now.
rest. Yeah,
Let's rest now.
I am exhausted.
Maybe
Jagal
that's
would
the problem.
Jagal
We
would,
have fatigue minds.
quickly nod his head and say, Of course, I am sorry. Where are our manners? Yes, of course, rest. Rest as much as you like. You have already done us a great service, and the gnomes themselves will be able to rest better knowing that there is protection here for however long it lasts.
Yeah. All right.
Jarek attempts to cast his light cantrip so he can look scarier while staring at the gnome.
Yeah, nothing happens. Not even a spark.
Jarek will just have to settle for glaring.
Okay. Cullimore's going to get some rest before he starts going into this debate again. He's tired and slightly cranky.
I
As
think we all are.
as you guys are leaving, Balin says one last thing. He says, "There's a goblin, the one that helped me escape. He feels bad. We can contact him."
Really?
He shakes his head saying, I don't know how much help it would be, but he gave me a way to get a hold of him again.
What does this goblin do? Is it a guard?
He nods. A guard, a jailer, a slave keeper. He
Yep.
finds slaves and
Yep.
guards them.
And we have our way in.
Yeah, we
wanted.
do. And if we wanted, that's a great way. We meet up with him. He says he captured some of us, and he can determine where we go.
Mhm.
Yep. Cullimore will say we'll talk more about this when we rest. But this is an apple just ripe for the picking. We'd be fools not to do it now. The rewards are too great. But the player is going to the washroom, so I will be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, then the GM is going to get some peach tea, and he will
Yeah.
be right back.